What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's CJ. This is Out of Bounds, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some more NBA single stat player props. So if you play on PrizePicks, or maybe you don't, maybe you have sports betting legalized in your state, this video is sure to have information that's going to help you when selecting real-life points, assists, rebounds, and three-point make props on tonight's NBA slate. Now, yesterday's video, we had a few things hit. I think both of the Brooklyn Nets guys hit their three-point props. Lonzo Ball stayed under his assist prop. I don't know. There may have been others, but anyway, I know that there's room for improvement, so let's try and capitalize on today's 9-game NBA slate. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Definitely hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. We would like to hit 1,100 subscribers by the end of this week. Now, I know there's a lot of you that watch these videos and you haven't subscribed yet. We'll say about 48 to 49% of you. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button. It helps me out. It helps you out. I'm giving out free picks every single day. Now, with that in mind, you guys absolutely smashed yesterday's light goal of 49.5. And I said the over. I wanted to go with the over. I knew you guys could do it. So you absolutely came through. So let's set it a little bit higher. We're going to keep raising the bar until I defeat you guys. Okay. 51.5. I'm going to take the over. I think we can get at least 52 likes on this video with about 400 to 500 of you watching it every single day. That's around 10%. So just 10% of you need to like the video. Now, with that in mind, let's get into some news real quick. And there's a few noteworthy things that are happening here, I guess you could say. We've got the Nuggets PJ Dozier out with an adductor strain for Wednesday, so that's a pretty decent sized piece of news because, you know, the Nuggets are pretty thin at guard right now. There's no Jamal Murray, there's no Monte Morris. PJ Dozier is now out, so who does that leave to step into to fill the void? I guess it's Austin Rivers. It's the Austin Rivers show. So Kimball Walker dealing with an oblique injury recently. He's returning for the Boston Celtics against the Magic tonight. Jaren Jackson Jr., JJJ, is ruled out for Wednesday, so no Jaren Jackson Jr. for the Memphis Grizzlies. Looks like Jaylen Brown's dealing with an ankle injury. He's not going to play Wednesday night versus the Magic, for the Celtics. It looks like the Kings' Tyrese Halliburton, that knee injury that I talked about in a video the other day, yeah, it was pretty bad. He's expected to miss the rest of the season, unfortunately for him. He was having a good little season. Let's see, what else, what other news do we have going on here? Boop, 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 boop. Everything's Tuesday. James Ennis, he's going to be out. So is Terrence Ross. So is Chuma Okeke. So is, oh, there was somebody else too for Orlando. I don't know. Anyway, all the veterans for the Orlando Magic are basically out. Michael Carter-Williams, that's the one I was thinking of. They continue to sit out for Orlando. This looks like a time for the Magic to evaluate their young talent, see what kind of pieces they've got there, get a feel for who's going to be a part of the future and who's not. So I'm excited for that as a Magic fan. Indiana Pacers, Edmund Sumner is dealing with a knee injury. He's questionable for Wednesday. Kirkin Korkmaz is out for the Philadelphia 76ers on Wednesday. Mike Conley, this is a big one, dealing with a hamstring issue. He continues to be out for the Utah Jazz on Wednesday. Moving on down the line here, let's see if there's anything else that stands out. No, I mean, that looks like the gist of all of the major injury news. Again, if you're not a part of the Discord community, it's completely free for you to join. I'll leave a link down in the description of the video where you can go and join. Costs you nothing to join that. There's people in there every single day chit-chatting about all the best picks over on PrizePicks or the various sports betting sites and all that stuff. So completely free for you to join. And I mentioned that because there's a free news feed in there for NBA action, also for MLB and NHL. So if you're looking to stay on top of the latest NBA news, well, you can just jump into the Discord community. You get to chat, you get to keep up with the news, and so on and so forth. All right, so with the news out of the way, let's start digging in because we got 9 games to talk about. Of course, I'm going to try and deliver 8 solid prop picks for you. And the first one I want to talk about is Jusuf Nurkic, the big man for the Portland Trail Blazers. They're taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. That game tips off at 7:40 p.m. That's Eastern time over on PrizePicks. So let's take a look at this game total and spread first and foremost. Now, this game has an implied total of 229 points, which is a pretty high total. So this game should have plenty of points, rebound opportunities, assists, and things that nature. But The bad news is that it's an 11.5 point spread, meaning that the Portland Trail Blazers are expected to blow out the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, at this point in the season, I don't think any of you are surprised because Cleveland's not a very good basketball team. So now that we know how the game is sort of setting up here, let's type in Mr. Jusuf Nurkic's name here over on Number Fire, which is our reference site of choice because they offer free projections for all your favorite single stats and for fantasy projections. So pretty neat there. 12.4 points is his projection tonight. So that is quite a bit less than 13.5. Now we're looking to take the under on Jusuf Nurkic. We need him to score 13 or less points. So the fact that he's projected to score 12.4, well, that works in our favor. So we will move over to NBA.com. Let's type in Jusuf Nurkic's name here, and up pops his player card. And you can see for the season, he's scoring at just 10.7 points per game, which is a great sign for us as we are looking to take the under here on Nurkic. So with the season averages in mind, we're going to go and look at his last 5 game averages, run this little report. And by the way, you guys can do this all for free yourself. Every resource that I'm showing you in today's video is completely free. All it takes is a little bit of your time. But if you don't have time to do it, well, guess what? That's why I make these videos. And if you want even more content from me, there's a link down in the description below where you could join my Patreon community where I go even further than I can in just a 30-minute YouTube video. So if you want even more content, Patreon's the way to go. So anyway, in his last 5 games, he's appeared in all 5. He's playing under 24 minutes in that time span. His scoring average is 13.4 points, which is good news for us because that is just a slight under 13.5, meaning that if you think 13 points, 14 points, more often than not, he's closer to 13, which is great news for us here. So liking the way that the averages are playing out here for Jusuf Nurkic and this under on his 13.5 point prop. Now, the last site I use here is rotowire.com. They got 4 of the major sports books, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, and PointsBet, so we could see a side-by-side and get an idea how the action's going on Jusuf Nurkic in this points prop. Now, the only 2 that offer a point prop for Nurkic at the moment is FanDuel and BetMGM. Now, that could change throughout the day. Maybe DraftKings puts a point prop up for him. Maybe PointsBet puts a point prop up for him. But as of now, we've just got FanDuel and BetMGM. And on both of those sites, they've got him at 13.5 points, just like PrizePicks does. And you're seeing the action on the under here, minus 124 under, which is fantastic news. And even better, 128 for the under here on BetMGM. So the fact that both sports books agree, the fact that his season averages and his 5-game averages are both under 13.5 points is also looking good. And to top it off, the cherry on top of the sundae for us is the fact that he is projected for less than 13.5 points over on Number Fire. So 2 thumbs up for me. I'm sticking with it. I'm taking the under here on Jusuf Nurkic and these 13.5 points. All right, so we got that guy out of the way. Let's talk about another one here, and that is going to be Ricky Rubio, the point guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're taking on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time over on PrizePicks. So 9.5 points is Ricky Rubio's current point projection here. Let's first and foremost take a look at the game totals and the spread. And you can see that there is a lot of implied points here between these two teams. 237 points, anything 230 or more. I mean, that's a pretty high total. Let's just call it what it is. Now, Minnesota is a 3.5 point underdog at home. 3.5 points isn't a very large spread, so you can expect this game to be high scoring, close, competitive, according to the lines makers in Las Vegas. So now that we know how the game is going to shape up, let's go ahead and type in Ricky Rubio's name. Now you can see that in the first column here, highlighted yellow is the points, and he's projected for 8.9 points, which is fantastic. Even if we round that up and, say we're feeling generous and say he's going to score 9 points. Well, if we're looking to take the under here on 9.5 points, 9 points or less gets the job done. So that is a good sign of things to come here for Ricky Rubio tonight. So we're going to type his name in again here on NBA.com. And again, guys, you can go and do all of this yourself or just watch my videos and join the Patreon, whatever helps you save time. Now, for the season, he is scoring 8.4 points per game, which is 0.6 less than 9. So this is a good sign. We like the way that that is shaping up here, but we're going to look at the last 5 games. So let's go ahead and generate a little report here and get an idea of how he's been performing in his last few. All right, so over his last 5 games, he's appeared in all 5, and he is averaging just under 25 minutes per game. Now, during that time span, his scoring average really hasn't gone up at all. In fact, it's at 8.8 points, which is still under 9 points and still quite a bit under 9.5 points. So I am liking the way that things are looking so far. I think it's smooth sailing on Ricky Rubio to this point. Now, last but not least, we're going to head back over to RotoWire. We're going to type in Ricky Rubio's name, and you can see that we've got him up on all 4 of the sports books, and they all have him at 9.5 points. Now, DraftKings, we're not really seeing any action on the over or the under there, but FanDuel, a little bit better look here, minus 116 for the under, so that is good news for us. And finally, we got BetMGM at minus 128, but even better, minus 134 on the under over on PointsBet. So we've got 3 out of the 4 sports books here that we like to reference, all saying that the under is the way to go. We've got projections saying that the under is the way to go. We've got season averages and 5-game averages saying that the under is the way to go. So unless this guy suddenly becomes, I don't know, Allen Iverson and starts dropping points tonight, he should stay under 10 points, which is where we want him to be. We want him to be at 9 points. So I'm going to stick with it. It's looking good. Ricky Rubio for the under on this points prop. Now, the last points prop that I want to talk about is going to be Dillon Brooks, Memphis Grizzlies small forward, guard, whatever you want to call him, a wingman. I've got him going under 19.5 points. I think 19.5 seems a little bit too high with the likes of Ja Morant, Jonas Valanciunas, Kyle Anderson on the team. Yes, there will be no Jaren Jackson Jr., but I don't know how much that benefits Mr. Dillon Brooks here. So let's go take a look. We already know what the game totals and the spread are going to be looking like here for this particular game. So let's type in Dillon's first name, and you can see that for the season. I'm sorry, not for the season, but for tonight, his points projection is at 18.2 points, which is a pretty significant difference here versus his prop over on PrizePicks. So I am liking the way that the under is looking so far here for Dillon Brooks. We're going to type his name in over here to NBA.com and look at the averages for the season and the last 5 games, though. Now, you can see for the season, he is scoring at 17 points per game. That's a pretty decent number, but it is still 2.5 points under where he is projected on his prop on PrizePicks tonight. So let's dig in deeper. Let's look at his last 5 games here and see how those are stacking up. Does the scoring average go up or does it go down? Well, he's appeared in all 5 of the last 5 games, playing about 29 minutes per game, and his scoring average is up. It's up to 19 points, which is 2 points higher than where he has scored for the season. So that's a little bit of a red flag, but still 19 points is less than 19.5 or 20 points in this case. So we just don't want him to score 20 or more points. If he stays at 19, we are good to go. So not scared off by that number at all, although it is a little concerning. Not going to shake my confidence in going under on Dillon Brooks here. All right, so last but not least, we're back to RotoWire, and you can see across the board here, he is at 19.5 points. Not seeing any action over on DraftKings, but over on FanDuel, he is a minus 116 to go under, so a slight favorite to go under there. A little bit more of a favorite here over on BetMGM to go under at minus 120, so that is looking good. And last but not least, PointsBet, minus 120 on the under. We got 3 sites now who like the under. The action is going under on 19.5 points. Plus, we've got projections that agree with us. We've got season averages that agree with us. And we've also got his last 5 game averages, which are below 19.5, although they are at 19, which is close. It's close. So we just need him to stay down around where he's at for the season. So if that happens, we're in A-OK shape here. So I'm going to stick with it. Let's go under on Dillon Brooks and these points. All right, so with Dillon Brooks out of the way, we've got Kimball Walker and Trey Young we're going to talk about for some assist props. So let's start with Trey Young. We've got Trey Young at 9.5 assists. I got him going under 9.5 assists. I don't think 9.5 assists is going to happen tonight. I think that is a pretty high number, but let's see if I'm right or wrong here. We're going to start things off by looking at the game totals. We got 228 implied points on the board, so pretty high totals in this one, but the spread is just 1 point, meaning this game should stay close and competitive. So with that in mind, let's click the assist column here over on Numberfire, and we could do a little searchy search for Trey Young. Now, Trey Young is at 8.8 assists according to the folks at Numberfire, which puts him under 9.5 assists. So that is looking like a good first step in the right direction for us. Back to NBA.com we go. We're going to type his name in. We do this research together so you guys can see how I end up on the picks or the plays that I do. Now, for the season, he is averaging 9.4 assists per game, which is closer to 9 than it is 10, and it's less than 9.5 his projection over on PrizePicks. So that is a good sign also. So let's move down. Let's go look at his last 5 games and see if he is going over or under 9.4 assists, his season average. All right, so in his last 5 games, he's appeared in 3 of those. He's averaging about 33 minutes per game during that time. And good news for us, his assists are trending down. He's averaging 7.3 assists over those 3 games that he's appeared in, and that is quite a bit lower, over 2 assists lower than his season average. So that's a great sign for us that he is trending downward in the assist category, making our underplay here on this 9.5 look even better. So we're going to click the assist column here. We're going to type in Trey Young so we can isolate him from the rest of the group. And across the board, he is at 9.5 assists. Now, DraftKings, you're seeing action at -121 for the under. Over on FanDuel, -115 for the under. BetMGM, -128. And finally, PointsBet, -125. All 4 of the sports books agree that the under is the action for the 9.5 assist prop for Trey Young. We've got season averages and 5-game averages that validate that, and we've got a projection over on Numberfire that also solidifies that the under on Trey Young could be a good way to go. Really, the only knock against this play is probably the fact that it is a high-scoring game with a close spread. So there could be a lot more points and assist opportunities going up, but you know, when everything aligns like it does here, I just got to go with it and hope that the process is correct. So with that one out of the way, let's go to another one here. We got Kimball Walker, Boston Celtics point guard, making his return to the lineup tonight against my lowly young Orlando Magic. Yes, it's true. Oh, yeah, we got some more props that just popped up on the board here. Some Denver Nuggets, some New York Knicks. All right, cool. Back to Kimball Walker, though. 5.5 assists. I think I'm looking to take the under on this one, but let's go do our homework real quick and make sure that this is looking like a good way to go. All right, so first thing we got to do is look at the game totals, of course. 217.5 implied points. Not a very high total, so that's good when you're looking to take some unders on some players in this case. Now, it's an 11-point spread, so this game does look like it's going to be a blowout, even though the Boston Celtics don't have Jaylen Brown. They've got enough firepower between Kimball Walker, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum to do some big-time damage here against my Orlando Magic. So, all right, Kimball Walker, 5.5 assists. Let's go ahead and search for him real quick. I believe there's only one Kimba in the league, at least on tonight's slate. So tonight he is at 4.5 assists projected by Numberfire. So that is a good sign for us because, we want him to stay at 5 assists or less in this situation. So 4.5 is less than 5. That is very, very good for us. And we're back to NBA.com. We're going to look at his season averages. Now, for the season, he is averaging 5 assists, but 5 is less than 5.5. And more importantly, it's less than 6. If he gets 6 assists tonight and we take the under, we're in deep doo-doo. We don't want that to happen. Nobody likes being in deep doo-doo. So let's click his stats category here. Let's go to traditional splits, advanced filters, move this to the last 5 games, click run, and let's see what happens. Well, he's missed some time here lately for the Boston Celtics. So even though it's a 5-game window we're looking at, he's only appeared in 1 of those games. Now he's averaging 29.5 minutes in that game. And in that game back, he dropped just 4 assists, which is quite a bit less than 5.5. So, you know, it's a small sample size as far as recent sample size goes, but, you know, it's looking pretty good. You know, matter of fact, let's see if we change this from 5 game to 10 if we get an even better sample size here. All right, there you go. So in a 10-game window, he's appeared in 4 out of the last 10 games, and still his assists are just 4.5, which is still less than 5.5 assists. So I am not worried about this whatsoever. It's looking like the under is still a super solid way to go for Kimball Walker. So last but not least, we're going to type Mr. Kimball Walker's name into RotoWire, and there you go. You got him at 5.5 assists across all 4 of the sports books that we reference here. DraftKings has him as a -125 to go under. FanDuel -128 to go under. Here is where it gets very sweet for us. BetMGM -133 on the under, and PointsBet a massive -140. I love seeing big odds, big juice flowing on the under there. So all 4 of the different sports books agree. Plus, we've got season averages. We've got 5-game, 10-game averages that agree that the under on Kimball Walker is the way to go. Plus, we've got the projection over on NumberFire also suggesting that he's going to go for less than 5.5 assists. So, guys, I got to stick to my guns here. I got to keep with the under on Kimball Walker and these 5.5 dimes. All right, so with that out of the way, we've got 3 more props to discuss. The next one is going to be rebounds, and the first guy I want to discuss is going to be Portland Trail Blazers swingman, Mr. CJ McCollum, fellow CJ here, so we got to talk about him. You know how we do. He's at 4.5 rebounds tonight, so 4.5 rebounds seems a little rich for my blood. That suggests that, you know, we've got to decide, is he going to go for 4 rebounds or 5 rebounds? And tonight, I think he goes for 4 rebounds or less. So we're going to do the homework together once again here. Let's click the rebound column, and let's do a little search here for CJ McCollum. All right, and you can see that his projected rebounds tonight are 4.3. But before we go any further, let's look at the game total real quick. 229. We've talked about it before, but on that 229, it looks like it's going to be a huge blowout here, 11.5. So that helps us out here. Hopefully CJ McCollum doesn't see the court much or at all in the 4th quarter. So still liking the under here on this rebound prop. Moving back over to NBA.com, we're going to type his name in here, do a little control click or command click if you're on an Apple computer, and up pops his player card, and you can see that for the season, 4.2 rebounds per game is his season average, which is good, meaning he's more at the 4 rebound mark than he is at the 5 rebound mark on any given night. So let's click the stats category. We're going to go and look at his last 5 games here together. We'll let that run, and we quickly get back to some results here. And he's played in his last 5 games, all 5, and 32.4 minutes per game during that time span. And good news for us, looky, 4 rebounds per game, which is exactly what we want. We want 4 rebounds or less in this situation. So far, everything is looking good here for an underplay on this 4.5 rebound prop. So we're going to click the rebound category. Let's type in McCollum's name here. And not all 4 sports books have a rebound prop up for him at the moment. In fact, only 2 of them do, and that is FanDuel and BetMGM. Now, both have him at 4.5. On FanDuel, he's a -130 to go under, so that is looking super strong there. And over on BetMGM, he's a -128 to go under as well. So both agree that the action should be on the under tonight. That is looking very, very promising. Plus, we've got season averages, 5-game averages that also agree and suggest that we should be going under on this 4.5 rebound prop. And not only that, we've got NumberFire, trustworthy projection site, who also says that going under on 4.5 rebounds is likely the way to go. So sticking with it, I like it. I'm not flip-flopping based on the research here. All right, so the next guy I want to talk about is Anthony Edwards and his rebound prop, which is set at 5.5 boards. Again, they're taking on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. 5.5 seems a bit high, so if we were to take the over, he'd have to pull down 6 rebounds. Now, can he pull down 6 rebounds? Sure, he's a fantastic athlete. He's a young man with super springs in his legs, but I don't know, guys. I'm not buying it, so I'm going to look to go under here on Anthony Edwards. Let's do a little search for his name and start the research off right. And you can see that we've got him at 4.5 rebounds over on NumberFire. That is his projected rebound total tonight. Now, 4.5 is quite a bit less than 5.5. I love seeing these big 1-point differentials in a single stat or a fantasy score. So 4.5 is very good here. That means we can either expect 4 rebounds or 5, but either way, it's less than 5.5. So I'm liking the way that things are setting up. Let's move over to NBA.com. Let's get an idea of how those averages are looking both for the season and his last 5 games. You can see that for the season, he is at 4.6 rebounds per game. So between 4 and 5 rebounds for the season, he's closer to 5. Now 5 is okay. We get paid if we take the under on 5.5 and he lands on 5. We cannot have him go for 6 rebounds. I repeat, we cannot. So let's click the stats category here. Let's move this from all games to just his last 5 and see if that rebound average goes up or goes down. Now, holy moly, this guy turned into Dennis Rodman overnight here. In his last 5 games, he's playing about 36 minutes per game. His rebound average is up to 8.2 rebounds per game. Is that sustainable for a shooting guard like Anthony Edwards? I mean, that's almost double where he has been for his season averages. I don't think it's sustainable, guys. I just don't. I don't believe that this guy is going to keep pulling down 8 rebounds per game. So while that does raise a little bit of a concern, a little bit of a red flag, I am also not so sure that I'm buying into the fact that he's going to pull down 8 rebounds tonight. I don't know. Let's type his name in here. Let's see how the action's looking on our sports books here. So we've got 3 out of 4 that have a rebound prop up for Anthony Edwards. At 5.5 rebounds, FanDuel's got him at -130 on the under. BetMGM has him at -125 on the under. And last but not least, PointsBet, they've got him at -130 on the under. So all 3 of the sports books agree that going under on this rebound prop for Anthony Edwards at 5.5 is the way to go. His season averages indicate that going under is the way to go. The biggest red flag, the biggest thing that's alarming here is the fact that he is over 8 rebounds per game in his last 5 games. That is crazy. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think he's going to do that for the rest of the season or anything like that. But, if you're a little shaken up by that last 5 game average, then maybe you fade this. But I don't know if I would even feel comfortable taking the over here. It would be a fade for me or go under. Gun to head, that's my final answer. All right, so we're finally here. We've crossed the finish line. We've already talked about a CJ in the video. Now we're going to talk about a Curry in the video, another name that is near and dear to my heart. And in this case, we're talking Seth Curry, not Steph Curry. And we're talking 3-point props for Seth Curry. Now he's at 2.5 3-point makes over on PrizePicks and the various sports betting websites. So 2.5 seems a bit high for me. I think I'm looking to take the under here on Seth Curry. I know he's been playing a little bit better basketball lately, but I believe Philadelphia should be fully healthy in this one. So let's take a look and see how he's been shooting it from beyond the arc for both the season and in his last 5 games here. So click traditional splits. We wait for that to load, and you can see that for the season, he's attempting almost 5 3-pointers per game. Now, on those almost 5 3-point attempts, he is making just a little over 2 of those per game. Now, 2.1 is less than 2.5, meaning that 2.1 means that he's closer to 2 on any given day than he is close to 3. So that is a good sign for us. Now, let's move this to the last 5 games and see how that number changes. From 2.1, it goes up to the dreaded 3.4. So he's shooting the ball a lot better here. 5.4 attempts in his last 5 games, and he's making 3.4 of them, which is more than we would like him to make if we're looking to take the under here. But again, the season averages are a larger sample size. Philadelphia should be healthy. If there's anybody ruled out, then this becomes more of a concern. But if everybody is a go, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, all the big names, well, then I like the under even better. So let's move to the 3-point prop category here on RotoWire. I will type in Curry, and I don't even know how to spell my own last name. That's a damn shame. You can see that 3 out of the 4 sports books have a 3-point prop up for Seth Curry, and it's looking very, very lovely for us in the under here. So DraftKings, they got him at 2.5, -162 for the under. How do you say no to that? FanDuel, 2.5, -154 for the under. Again, how do you say no to that? And last but not least, PointsBet, -164 on the under. Lock it up, throw away the key. I'm sticking with it, guys. I can't ignore the action when it's that strong on an over or an under. In this case, an under on these 2.5 3-point makes. But you guys let me know. Am I being biased here with Seth Curry and liking this play as much as I do? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you know something that I don't know. Maybe Seth Curry hits 3 3-pointers and you're just not wanting to tell me. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite pick from today's video is, or maybe it's one that I didn't get a chance to talk about. I appreciate you guys subscribing and making sure that those notifications are turned on as we move toward our quest for 1,100 subscribers by the end of the week. We've got a couple more days to get it done. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is CJ for Out of Bounds, and until the next one, guys, good luck tonight. Let's win some money. Peace out.